On today's episode, we're going to be doing an EnQlave AMA and discussing quantum security for Ethereum. Let's dive into today's exciting live episode.
The world is beginning to witness unprecedented technological growth in areas such as AI and quantum computers. But what does this mean for Bitcoin and blockchain? Welcome to the QRL Live, where we discuss the collision of quantum computing, blockchain, AI, and cryptocurrency, some of the most compelling and emergent technologies today. The field of quantum computers is one of the newest and most promising areas of science, and its implications could very well disrupt our world in unpredictable ways. State-of-the-art machines are being built today that, in the future, could be as disruptive as the transistor, television, possibly even the internet. We can no longer ignore these implications. What does this mean for Bitcoin and crypto? Cryptocurrency, and therefore blockchain, is considered classically secure from modern supercomputers. However, there is a potential vulnerability in nearly all blockchain projects, in that a sufficiently powerful quantum computer running Shor's algorithm could effectively take over the addressing scheme, empty wallets, disrupt applications, and cripple entire cryptographic networks. Scientists, developers, and researchers have known about this emerging threat for some time now, and in response, the NIST has been working since 2016 to develop post-quantum secure cryptography. In fact, the brightest minds in science and cryptography are working on solutions to this problem right now. The QRL project is a purpose-built, quantum computer-resistant, doubly audited, industrial-quality cryptocurrency that uses an NIST-recommended XMSS hash-based signature scheme, which is provably quantum-resistant. So what does this even mean? It means that we develop the blockchain technology of tomorrow in order to keep your digital assets secure today. Welcome to QRL Live. Let's dive in.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Quantum Resistant Ledger channel, the place where you come for the crypto and stay for the quantum. In today's episode, we're hosting an EnQlave AMA and going to be discussing quantum security for Ethereum. And with me to have this discussion is my co-host, Michael Strike, who is our Director of Outreach at the QRL. And also joining us today for the QRL show is Kaushal, who is our core blockchain developer at the QRL. Kaushal, it's great to have you with Strike and I to have a good discussion on EnQlave.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to have an EMA regarding EnQlave.
Awesome. Well, I think a good place to kind of start as we lead into further questions and we go into a few different areas. I think a good first question for us to first cover that would tie together QRL as a project and EnQlave would be, first one is, what role does the QRL blockchain play in the EnQlave system? And then based on the answer to this, we can go a little bit further as far as talking maybe about security and a few other parts. But could you cover this first? And then from here we can,
Sure. So basically EnQlave is a complete tool which can help you to secure your holdings on Ethereum blockchain. So it's like EnQlave itself is not a blockchain. It's basically built on Ethereum smart contract with post-quantum security, so that whatever you put inside that wallet, EnQlave wallet, whether it's an ERC20 token or ERC721 token, anything like that, so you just make it secure against any future attacks related to the quantum computers. But on the other hand, QRL is itself a blockchain. So it's completely two different things. QRL is a blockchain, it runs on its own ecosystem, while EnQlave is one of our contribution on the Ethereum blockchain to make it secure against the quantum attacks.
Thank you. Thanks for covering that one. Strike, I think, do you want to dive in with the next one as we move into the next AMA question?
Yeah, so we have another message or question from our community here. This one is, how does EnQlave provide quantum resistance in simple terms? And where are things classically secure versus quantum secure? So I think it says where. I think that means somewhere, but go ahead.
Yeah, the gist of it.
So what we have done in EnQlave is, first we have implemented XMSS verification. So if you can generate an XMSS wallet off chain, like you do that even in QRL blockchain too. You generate your wallet like in completely separate off chain, and then you simply sign your transactions using your XMSs, and then you broadcast that into QRL network. So what we have done into EnQlave is we have two systems in it. One of them is XMSs, so you can generate your wallet offline, and you need to mention to your EnQlave wallet like, these are my public keys, these are my XMSs public keys. Once you have mentioned and deployed this EnQlave wallet, so the EnQlave wallet knows like these are your XMSs assigned public keys. So when you make a transaction, so if you ask EnQlave wallet to, I have some tokens and I want to move it away from my EnQlave wallet, or I want to send to someone else, so of course you need to provide that transaction with ECDS signature, but you need to provide the XMSS signature too. So, and when you provide the XMSS signature, the EnQlave smart contract or the wallet will automatically check like, okay, if this particular signature and this public key is actually authorized to make transaction from this wallet. If yes, then yeah, verify it and let the transaction go on. So there is another verification, which is what makes it quantum secure, which is our XMSS verification. But the problem which comes is like, the gas fees if you use XMSS verification is a bit higher. I will say quite a lot. So that's why we also have this second security, which is basically hash chains, and it's like one-time token which you generate offline, and you make the commitment on the smart contract by hashing those tokens multiple times, and you use that tokens in future to simply move your funds from your EnQlave wallet to another wallet. So the thing is, quantum computers are not good with cracking the hashes, right? We know like with SNOR algorithm, we can, with source algorithm, we can crack this ECDSL private keys, but yeah, but not with the hashes. So we are using this one-time token which has a very reduced fee. So the fee, we will discuss that later in this video. So that one is something which can be used by the our users, our community, if they want to secure their tokens or holdings on Ethereum where you're using EnQlave. Yeah.
Thanks for covering that one. The next one we're going to go into is another community question that came in earlier, and that is, will the QRL Foundation be acting as a liquidity provider for eQRL exchanges on Uniswap, and how will it be structured, executed? So a lot of people are wondering, talking about Uniswap, other
Okay.
dexes. This is a good one to cover.
So this is more of a legal question. So whether QRL Foundation is itself allowed to do this or not, that's one of the legal questions. So I think, in my opinion, I don't see the point like the foundation should directly get involved into liquidity provider, but yeah, we can have some third party or someone else who will be providing this liquidity on Uniswap. Or we also have our own community, because Uniswap is decentralized. Anyone can provide this liquidity on the Uniswap. Our own community can do that. Any third party can do that. But
Yep.
in terms of QRL Foundation, I don't think like I can say yes, because it's more of a like legal question. It's not something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strike, you want to take the next one here? I think this
Sure.
is. Yep. This is a two-parter, so I'll pop it up as you're reading it out.
So our community asks, does EnQlave swap quanta on the QRL blockchain to eQRT? And on the Ethereum blockchain, namely, does EnQlave include atomic swaps? How does that all work?
Okay. So right now, there is nothing like atomic swap between Ethereum and QRL blockchain. So if we have an eQRT token, okay, so if we will have an eQRT token, then we will be building one of the bridge. So the purpose of this bridge will be to lock the funds on QRL blockchain and to release the equivalent amount of eQRT token on Ethereum blockchain. And if someone want to migrate in reverse, like they have eQRT, but they want the QRL on the QR blockchain itself. So we will have that same bridge, where you will basically lock your funds back to the to one of the smart contract address, and the bridge will be decentralized. So they will check, validate, vote, and they will release using multi-sig wallet address feature on QR blockchain the equivalent amount of token which was locked on Ethereum blockchain. So this is how it's going to work, and we are trying our best to keep this bridge decentralized. So we have to see like how many nodes or how many people or users we can allow to be the part of that bridge.
Sounds good. Let's move into, I know you mentioned this already, probably that we covered this in a question or two. A few questions that we saw came through were related around gas fees. So this one would be good to cover, probably because it covers a couple other gas fee questions in general. But the way this one's worded is, how have Ethereum gas fees been retooled, and what will gas fees cost be for transactions? So just in general question, this will probably cover a couple people's questions here.
Yeah, it's a very general question, but like as a developer, it's the funny things that I have seen in last couple of months in terms of the gas fees. We all know Ethereum gas fees is pretty much high at this time, and the problem was like when we started making EnQlave, and when we have this XMS's verification, all these things, the gas fees was low enough. So at that time, the XMS's verification used to cost around $150, right? And now if I use the XMS's verification, it costs around $450 or $500, somewhere around that. Okay, so that's why we designed another way. Like we still have the XMS's verification, which still can be used by by institutions which are having a huge amount of funds on their cold wallet or hot wallet, like exchanges which holds like millions of Ethereum or other ERC20 tokens or 721 tokens. So yeah, they can still, like for them $450 is not a big deal. But then comes the question is how one of the simple user who doesn't have like $450 is huge amount paying in terms of the gas fee. So we deployed this hash chain thing that I just discussed previously, and where you basically generate some of your random tokens, and you basically commit that by hashing it into the smart contract so that you can use it just once in future. And with that, we reduced the gas fee. It's like 6 months ago, it was around $10 to $12 for one transaction. But right now, this fee is somewhere around $37 to $45 per transaction. Okay, so and today Ethereum had the hard fork too, so I haven't checked like the effect of that hard fork. I'm waiting for 24 hours to finish so that I can reevaluate it, because they have made some changes with the fee stuff. So I'm hoping that there could be some things, something good, some good news for us. Maybe fees got reduced by some value. So I will be checking that next, maybe tomorrow or maybe after 48 hours. But yeah, right now the situation is, if you make a transaction using hash chain, you will have to spend around $35 to $45 per transaction, and for XMSs it's going to be like $450 or $550, somewhere around that.
So just to clarify a little bit, Kaushal,
Yeah.
for the community. So the fees that you're talking about are when we integrate with the smart contract in Ethereum in order to exchange ETH for eQRT and then back out again. While it's an ERC20, it can move around without those fees. It's only when you jump into quantum resistance and jump out of quantum resistance. Would you agree?
With EnQlave, yeah, if you want to jump in, it's not going to cost you huge fees. Like if you have some tokens in a different like not inside the EnQlave, but as normal, as directly on your Ethereum wallet, if you move that into EnQlave smart contract, it's not going to cost you huge fee. But once it's inside the EnQlave smart contract and you want to move it whether you want to move it out of the Enclave smart contract, or whether you want to send it someone else on their Ethereum address or on their Enclave wallet address, it's going to cost you the fee that I have just mentioned. For hashchain, $45, and for XMS's verification, around $450, $550. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for covering that. While we're going into the next couple questions that we're going to be covering, if you have specific questions, everyone watching this live, feel free to either throw your questions live in the chat, and as we move through the end of this episode, we'll try to cover a few more of these. But Kaushal, I think it would be a good part. Myself and Michael saw a number of questions around atomic swaps with EnQlave. Could we touch on this a little bit more, because I think this could help hit 5 birds with 1 stone type. If we cover atomic swaps with EnQlave, if you'd like to delve into this a little bit.
So as I mentioned, we are not having any kind of atomic swaps for now. It's like we will be making some kind of bridge which will be using this multisig wallet feature on QR blockchain. The reason that we cannot have atomic swaps is just because the way the atomic swaps itself work is not post-quantum secure. Like Ethereum using ECDSA cryptography, we are using XMSS cryptography. So there's nothing that we can like build atomic swap on these things. Like if the 2 blockchains are using ECDSA, then yeah, we can build these atomic swap stuff. But yeah, right now I don't see the scope of atomic swaps. But yeah, we have the research team, Insight research team working on these things. So including the atomic swaps too. So once we have something from research, we will look into it. And because if we try to build a post-quantum secure atomic swap, then it means like we need to again build that overall this atomic swap what do I say, the post-quantum atomic swap algorithm into the smart contract, because ECDS is not post-quantum secure, and then we need to evaluate if it is feasible or not in terms of gas fee. Because if the gas fee will be too high, then it's completely senseless to have atomic swap. So yeah, we are not planning to do atomic swap at least for the first version of this enclave. But yeah, in future we can have this atomic swap feature.
Thanks for covering that. That kind of that's good. I'm sure a lot of people want to hear that, at least as far as where that's going moving forward. Michael, do you want to? I think we had a couple other really some good questions from the community. I saw a few. If you want to pull one, there was one from Wintermute. There was a number of other ones. I think we already covered the one from mQuantum. Is there any other ones you want me to pop up here in real time? I think that Wintermute one might be a good one to cover next.
Let's see, Wintermute asks, directly where the creation of one eQRT requires the burning of one QRL, creating demand from Ethereum users who want some level of quantum computer resistance.
Okay, I'm popping their first part of their question here. So that's the first part directly.
I think is what it's asking is the when you convert quanta, is it 1-to-1 when you burn? Do you actually burn quanta when you write it out to the smart contract? I think it's an inflationary question, as you know. Would QRL and would QRL be inflating or deflating versus what it's being paired with? So yeah.
On QRL blockchain itself, like if someone moving quanta from QRL blockchain to Ethereum blockchain, so for that purpose we are going to have a multisig wallet where they need to send the funds, and that will be locked. So on QRL blockchain it's not burning, and on Ethereum side, on Ethereum blockchain, we will be creating the equivalent amount of eQRT token, and then we will provide that specific Ethereum address which has basically logged his funds on the QRL blockchain. But if someone moving his eQRT token from Ethereum blockchain to QRL blockchain, so in that case, I had last conversation with Peter, so we decided that in that case, in eQRT token will be burned on Ethereum blockchain side, and on QRL blockchain side, we are going to unlock that equivalent amount of QRL token and will provide that to the user who has actually created or resulted into the burning of that equivalent eQRT token. Although it we are like trying to do it as 1:1 migration, but the thing is there is involved some fees, right? There is a fees, and we need to look into like how are we going to cover the fees. So maybe if foundation is going to support the fees, then that's one thing, but yeah, uh, we will look into it, like what will be with the fees and who is going to pay that. So but basically we will be doing 1:1 transaction. Now it may be like user has to pay the Ethereum gas fee to unlock that eQRT token that they have migrated from QRL, or so that's how it will work. But yeah, it will be 1:1 migration.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
We have a question here from, let's see, I'm going to the chat for a second. Here's one, a strike from Craig. Would the gas fees for a lattice-based enclave solution that Geometry is looking at instead of the hash-based version be dramatically less? Is that applicable to, let me pop that one up. Let's see. We're just looking through a few more of these other questions. Okay. I think a good one, there was a few questions related before maybe we'll go to those ones in a second. There's a few good questions on the UAE, United Arab Emirates Development Hub. What could you share with us in terms of kind of the bird's eye view of how that's unfolding and what is to come there? We see so much nuance, that stuff's still in the early stages, but what can you tell us at a high level in terms of the development hub there? A lot of people in the community are curious to know.
I know lots of people are excited and very much curious about what we are going to do with this dev hub. So the whole purpose or the whole idea of having this dev hub is to add more developers in the team, and it's like you will be seeing this impact in the upcoming months. Well, maybe it after 6 months or 8 months, but yeah, we are going to hire aggressively, but the right talent. It's not like we are just going to hire anyone, because we now know that there is lots of things that has to be done, and we need more helping hands to get it
quality
done.
over quantity too.
Yeah, of course. So we have lots of ideas, and we need to do everything parallelly, because right now with the limited resources, we are doing things like in a serial way. Like we do this, then we do that, then we do another thing. So it's kind of serial process. So what we are trying to achieve with this UAE Dev Hub is like to bring more people on the team, to bring right quality of developers, and then to work on the different ideas related to QR blockchain parallelly. So it's like one team doing one stuff, one team doing another stuff. Like we will be seeing that in a couple of months, 6 or 7 months, we will be seeing the results of this dev hub.
Cool.
Thank you for covering that. That helps explain it from a high level. Pretty good. Michael, do you want to?
Yep. John Tider asks, can you give some metrics on the efficiencies gained by using a layer 2 rather than an on-chain ETH? So I think we're talking about any efficiencies in either direction on whether or not to use smart contracts or layer 2 blockchains technology.
We thought about layer 2 when we were facing high transaction fee issue due to this XMS's verification. But the point is, there's no point of having a layer 2 solution if you know like it will not be quantum resistant. So the layer 2, how it works is like any layer 2 or side chain, basically they deploy a smart contract on Ethereum blockchain. And if you want your token to be available on that side chain or that layer 2 chain, then you need to deposit your token into that particular smart contract, and then equivalent amount of that token is created on that side chain, so that you can make swapping or make transactions, anything you want. And when someone tries to someone tries to get out of that layer 2 blockchain, and he needs to give a proof which is basically verified based on the validators which are working on the layer 2 blockchain and making some kinds of commitment using ECDS algorithm. So that's where the problem comes in. Even if we deploy the enclave wallet into layer 2, because these validators are committing on Ethereum blockchain using ECDSA algorithm, that creates the problem for us is like it cannot be post quantum secure. So this is why we dropped the idea of using a layer 2 solution, and so there's no point of generating metrics for that. But yeah, the other alternative is like if someone creates a post quantum secure layer 2 side chain, so in that case the fees would, like, it will be reduced tremendously. Yeah, but how, what will be the fees, how much will be the effect of this reduction is like, it's very subjective point. It depends upon how the fees are calculated on that side chain. It's every blockchain have their own ways to calculate the fees. Ethereum has a very high fee, another blockchain doesn't have that very much high fee. So these things are subjective. So yeah, currently there is no point of using a layer 2 unless we create our own quantum resistant layer 2. But in that case, fees will be dramatically reduced, very low, and it can become very much efficient for anyone to make a transaction on layer 2 uh, quantum secure blockchain rather than using that enclave which is deployed on the Ethereum itself.
So, Kaushal, thank you for that.
Yeah,
I have a couple questions on that one.
sure.
So, I mean, with the layer 2 solutions, you have to have essentially wouldn't you say it's like almost like an SDK as far as that you can publish out so all the layer 2s can talk to each other properly, because you all, rather than having all your
Mm,
consensus and all your code contained within your blockchain, now you're interacting directly with them
Yep.
at a different layer. So I don't think there's any quantum secure. First of all, if you'd have to build that, right? You'd
of
have to
course,
be able
yeah.
to build that interoperability that exists, and then you'd also have to write it in whatever language it is. So the scale of that would be pretty large to do. Because it just doesn't involve the quantum secure code. It also involves a lot of other code just to be able to do layer 2. So
Yeah,
agreed. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, if we implement layer 2 solution quantum resistant, then that will be great. But yeah, that's a lot of scope and a lot of work has to be done for that. And maybe once we have more developers on the dev hub, then we can think about a layer 2 solution. But the only problem with the existing layer 2 solution is the way they make the commitment on the Ethereum blockchain, which is itself not ECDSS. So anything you implement post quantum on layer 2 and someone tries to withdraw his funds from layer 2, then it's verified against the same ECDSA commitment, and then proof is calculated. So this could be manipulated, and this is why layer 2 solution is not feasible. The existing layer 2 solution is not feasible. But yeah, if we create our own post quantum secure layer 2 solution, then that will be like, it will have a tremendous reduction in the fees. Yeah.
If anyone out there knows of a quantum resistant layer 2, let us know. I don't know of one.
Same, yeah.
Because because the other flip side of the argument was you could just build on another platform if you wanted that, which would require a lot of retooling. But yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
Michael. Before I go into kind of a wrap up question as we close in on the episode, I know, did you have one or two more questions that you wanted to cover, or did that one cover it? I know you mentioned you might have had a few. I didn't want to jump into any other ones until.
Sure.
Was there any further?
Let's do one more. Let's see. Discord Forest asks, is the Dev Hub going to be made of remote developers, or is there a geographical restriction essentially on what you're looking for? Is that one of the qualifiers?
Right now, it's kind of COVID situation, right? So
Yeah.
I think initially we need to start from remote work. So because it's not feasible, the restrictions can change. Like the flight rules regulations changing every day. Sometimes the countries are banned to travel. Sometimes countries are allowed to travel. So we don't want people to get stranded in one of the specific countries. So yeah, we are focusing to initially start with remote developers.
Yeah, and geo agnostic right now, especially with stuff like it could change what's in rule right now might change by country to country. So okay,
Yeah, that's the point.
that answers that. Yeah.
Because I'm coming
Um,
from India to UAE, and the flight was
yeah.
actually banned, and it just opened yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So to be determined on with all that stuff, but there's a lot of variables at play. One
Yeah.
question that I think would help just kind of lead in the direction. I think based on the way this conversation is going, I think probably maybe next month or so we maybe have a part 2 to this, because there are so many quality questions that we're seeing people asking regarding EnQlave and the topic at hand today for today's AMA. But kind of as a wrap up, we're hitting around the 30-minute mark for today's AMA. I'd like to wrap up today's chat by talking about more of a broad question of, instead of just saying, oh, well, when will EnQlave be ready? I kind of want to ask more of where are we at now with EnQlave, and what is to come over the next quarter throughout the rest of 2021, and what direction is the ship headed? And just to kind of give people an idea of all the stuff that's already been worked on, what stuff is currently in progress, and a lot of the exciting stuff that is to come. So I think if we cover this within a few minutes, this would help lead us into the next episode when yourself and Michael and I hop back on to continue with a part 2 of this EnQlave AMA.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting question. And it's like with EnQlave, as I already said, we have this XMSS verification, hash chain verification, unit test, everything ready. The thing is, we
Yeah.
are looking to how can we make it is like how can make it easier to use. So we are like building mobile apps, the UI on the web applications. So everything to make EnQlave easier to use so that anyone can use it easily. And it's like the one of the thing that we this time that we have uh, put our more, the more focus is like usability. It should be easy to use for any user. So how much easier can we make it? I know there are a few things that, because if you want quantum level security, then you have to go through some of this new way to make the transactions. Some of the you need to take some of the pains, but yeah, still we are trying from our side best to make the overall UI, make different applications so that people can easily keep track of their one-time tokens, which I said in terms of hash chains, their XMSS public keys, private keys. They can, whether it's a mobile application or they are using a web application, they should be easily able to make transactions. And so that's what's the main focus, and that's where we are working right now. So for the back end, it's almost ready. There's nothing like a big deal to make changes. There's very small changes that we are working on the front end. We are trying our best to make things easier for user to use. And yeah, so that's how we are at now.
Thank you, Kaushal, for covering that. Michael, do you have any other wrap-up questions for part 1 of today's EnQlave AMA? In closing, I think we've covered a number of them already. Do you have any last closing ones?
I don't have any other questions. I think Kaushal's comments were good to hear on the user interface being worked on. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication,
Yeah.
right? So, in anything, and I also think anything that we can do to take some of the fear factor out of working on, adding to your portfolio something that's quantum secure and crypto, because crypto just by itself is, I mean, we live it and breathe it, but it's by itself is such it's a long and, broad learning curve, right? So sounds good. That's all I have. Thank you.
No, we really appreciate it. Thanks, Kaushal, for joining us and kind of seeing from your perspective. And there's just a lot of stuff being done that isn't always talked about front facing. So it's nice to have you be able to help explain it for us to be able to show the community and other people that are newer to our project to learn a bit more from the inside. But for everybody that's watching this, we will be having part 2 for this, probably sometime in the next 1 to 2 months, depending on schedules. But Kaushal, Michael and I appreciate you chatting with us today. And for everyone that's viewing at home, if you haven't already, if you're new to our project, make sure that you go to the QRL.org, learn a bit more about what our project's all about, learn about EnQlave, join our vibrant Discord community and other social channels online. And until next episode, we appreciate you joining us. And Kaushal and Strike, I'm going to sign off and have a great rest of the day. And we will see you all in the next QRL live episode. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.